Well, good afternoon again. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and I'm happy to be here for what is a very special day. And it's a special day particularly because it represents one of those examples where there is an idea, and the idea has merit and value, and it actually becomes reality. Many times in government, we talk about things we like to do. We have legislation and we have money allocated to do a function, but somehow it never happens. It doesn't correlate into a real world situation. And today what we're looking at is a first of a kind program that is actually launched off with 10 individuals who have graduated and are in and on their way into significant jobs because of this effort and this outreach. The money for this program was paid for with a private grant. The graduates that we're going to be introduced to, 10 graduates, will get into union jobs as part of a pre-apprenticeship program graduates. They've graduated from a pre-apprenticeship program, and all of them are ready for the next step up. All 10 are men, but the program is open to both men and women. So this is something which we hope is going to grow as we go forward. And just in general, pre-apprenticeship programs provide a direct pathway for people from disadvantaged communities, such as those who are low income, those who have been incarcerated, those who are in public assistance, residents in public housing, all of those situations, to enter into union apprenticeship programs and to work on union construction projects in their own community, so that when you see activities that are happening, the people who are working on the project look like the people in the community around them. And it represents an opportunity for the individual, but also for the community at large to see that something is happening that's going to benefit and improve their community, that this is the possibility for lifelong careers in unionized construction industry and a construction career that can stabilize a family, that can allow a man or a woman, for that matter, to support their children and give themselves a good life. I've often talked about my background and the fact that my dad was a maintenance man and my mom was a factory worker, and the sacrifice they made is how I got to go to college, and my sister, and I wouldn't be standing here today without those contributions. And this world is filled with stories just like that. And the 10 people that we have here today, through their own effort, but because there's an outreach effort made through Don Bosco workers and the Building Trade Council response to that outreach and effort, now gives us a path and a direction, not just for stories about what we're trying to do, but for actual accomplishments for people. And we have great hope that this is just the beginning of a long process. So without any other further ado, I'm going to introduce a friend of mine, a woman I've known for a long period of time. She's been very active in working in this area. Dr. Ann Heekin has shown time and time again in the Portchester community, the Rye community, that she will take good intentions and back it up with real solid work. So I'll turn this over next to Dr. Ann Heekin.
I'm impressed that he did all of that without wearing a pair of glasses. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, County Exec Latimer, your fabulous staff that we got to know very fast and furiously over this weekend, friends, colleagues who have joined us today, and of course, our wonderful Don Bosco Direct Entry Pre-Apprenticeship graduates, who you'll be seeing and hearing from a little bit later. Just some background on Don Bosco workers. George has been kind enough to mention our work in Portchester, and we have been at work defending the right of the worker for more than a decade. And a lot of that is placing men and women in day labor jobs, educating them on their labor rights, certifying them in OSHA, and giving them a voice in the community. In fact, giving them community, which they would otherwise not have. And as good as a very good day labor center like ourselves can be, the reality is that day labor jobs pay poorly, and the truer reality is often not at all. In 2015, we launched a campaign, No Pay, No Way, with our partners, Communication Workers of America, that brought to light, shined a light, if you will, on this sort of underground injustice that exists in our county of wage theft. It is rampant. And what that's allowed us to do, as we've partnered with the unions and with other collaborators, other worker centers in the county, National Employment Law Project, Pace Law School, is that it's given us the power base, if you will, to begin to really run down some of those big cases. And within the last 3 years, in collaborating with the New York Attorney General's office, we've recovered more than $100,000 in stolen wages. That's the good news. The bad news is that there's a lot more out there that will never be recovered. So wage theft recovery is a good thing, and I think we do it well, but it is not good enough. And so today we're celebrating the work of the last year between the trade unions and Don Bosco and others to launch the first of its kind direct entry pre-apprenticeship program in Westchester County. And I'm so proud of Don Bosco Direct Entry because it is truly a transformative program for moving low-wage workers from the margins of society to the middle class. We'd like to applaud the Westchester Trades for stepping up to the direct entry program in Westchester County. Certainly County Exec George Latimer, who's a longtime supporter of our work at Don Bosco Workers. And for both of you, for affirming the significance of this project for moving workers into the mainstream. And I'd like to add that, we are about creating economic opportunity, and that's certainly the threshold that we're going to reach with this first graduating class. So we're setting a standard for the rest of the county that we hope to move the county towards. And we're setting a standard in economic development, but I would like to add that we're setting a standard in moral development, right? This county is too good with too many good people to allow wage theft and lack of access to good jobs to be business as usual. So today we celebrate the graduating class of Don Bosco Direct Entry Pilot Program for their accomplishments and for the opportunity that they, through their performance and their success, has opened for other low-wage workers across the county as we move this program out. So to all the grads, you are the first, but you will not be the last. So I'd like to turn the microphone over to Eddie Doyle, who's president of the Westchester Building and Construction Trades, and Joe Dulia of Local 21, who have both been very involved in this pilot program. Thank you.
First, let me congratulate all the graduates. It's something we've been trying to do for a long time. It's a great thing for us, and I want to thank our county exec for supporting this program. I know George a long time. We support you. You have his support. Thank you, George, for your support. Construction in Westchester County has been really busy for the last 7 or 8 years. Unfortunately, we haven't been getting to work. Workers have been going to out-of-town contractors, out-of-state contractors who come in here and pay low wages, no benefits, no safety, no drug testing. We've been battling to get our union contracts a level playing field and bid this work. That's what this program is all about. And not fighting them last year, we feel like we're unarmed. Now with George here, I think we feel like we're armed a little bit. As I know George will back us up with this. He respects the working men and women in this county, and we have to get this program going. And one other thing I'll say, everybody doesn't go to college. If you don't go to college, we're the place you got to be. We got the good, best wages, we got the benefits, we got the health, safety, health, drug, we do it all. So you'll be very happy with our apprentice program. You got a lifetime job. And like I say, you go into these towns like Yonkers, New Rochelle, Mount Vernon, where they build all these big millions of dollar projects. There's no one from the cities working on these projects. So we're going to change that around. And we really need the help of George Latimer, which I know we have. And again, George, I can't thank you enough. And not to talk all this, it was Joe Delay for Local 21 Fitters and Plumbers. Joe has been helping these classes. Go ahead, Joe.
Good afternoon. My name is Joe Dulay. I'm a business agent with Local 21, Plumbers and Steam Fitters. I'd like to thank Eddie, the building trades, George, my manager, Frank Palin, my coordinator, Kenny Potter, for getting me involved, letting me get involved in this. I'd like to congratulate the class. I was involved from the beginning to the end, and they've made me very proud to be involved with them. They're great people. This Wednesday, we have an interview session with the other building trades for the ones who haven't gotten work to get them work up at our Union Hall at Local 21 in Peekskill. And I'll tell you, this program it will help the county. People in this county need to be able to afford to live in this county, to have jobs that they can pay their bills. We're offering careers, not jobs. These gentlemen here are going to get careers and have a chance to move forward and have a great life, have a family, and live in this county. The pre-apprenticeship program, Don Bosco and P2A, I'd like to thank Ann for getting involved. It was very helpful. She's done a heck of a job getting us going here, and it's great to have her on board, and we look forward to working many years in the future with her. Cities like Eddie said, New Rochelle, Yonkers, White Plains, Mount Vernon, Portchester, they're being transformed into mega cities now. They're not just little towns anymore. There's a lot of work coming out in these towns, and these cities and towns, right now, like Eddie said, they're bringing in people from all over the place, paying them less than what the prevailing wage in our area is. And I appreciate Eddie, George here getting involved, and we look forward to working with you in the future. It's a new day in Westchester County. Local 21 is excited to work with the county exec, George Latimer, Don Bosco, and Pathways to Apprenticeship, and other community faith partners to do just that and get this program running well and putting people to work in the future. I thank you and look forward to working here.
And let me just tell you, we're joined by Frank Palin, who's here with Local 21 Plumbers and Steam Fitters. To understand, for those who may not understand the pre-apprenticeship process, and I certainly don't know it having gone through it because I haven't, but I've been to 1024 McKinley Street in Peekskill. It's an old building, school building, that the union has. And you go in and out of classrooms, and you see every aspect of plumbing and welding and all the different elements that are needed for a person to be professional at this. Because when you're dealing not just with residential work, but with commercial work, it's serious skills that these men and women have. And they're able to do things at a high level of precision. And that's why we pay the wages we pay when we pay union wages, because it's a high level of precision and skill. And we don't look at people who don't have that level of skill and say, oh, you don't have those skills. We help them get to that level of skill so that they can be employed. And that when one of these men walk in the job, we look at them, we know they can do the job. You know I can't do the job. But we know that men and women who are trained to do these things, and this goes from discipline to discipline. I see we have Rich McSpedden here from IBEW Local 3, electrical workers, and the precision in every one of these different disciplines is important. And I think that's what we're also praising here today, is that there's a path for people to get those skills and use those skills at a high level and be properly compensated for those skills. And may I make one more element of connection? None of these are on my notes. I don't know if Catherine's freaking out that I'm off message here. But we have many people in this county who are very well compensated. They work on Wall Street. They're really good at what they do. We have medical professionals and lawyers. I'm none of those things. And they are terrific at what they do, and they're well compensated for it. We have to look at men and women who work with their hands in highly skilled construction jobs with the same degree of appreciation that we look at the medical doctor who's going to operate on you with open heart surgery, or the way we look at a lawyer that you go to when you have a certain level of problem and you sit across the desk from her or him and you say, please help me figure out how to get through this. We're prepared as a society to pay those people that can put together the high-level financing deals, and the people that can handle those legal deals, and the person that can operate on your heart, or the person that can fly an airplane, or the person that performs at a concert with music and can get beautiful music out of an instrument. We need to see men and women who are plumbers and steam fitters in the same light. They are professionals doing something at a high level of skill and ability. They should be respected for that, and they should be compensated for that. And that is the way the society has to look at them. That's certainly the way our government is going to look at them. So I think we're going to present certificates, but I think probably would be helpful. I'm going to change the order if it's not a problem. I'd like to ask James Lott from New Rochelle to come up here. He is going to talk a little bit about what his experience is like. And I think as much as any of us talk about the program and concept, hearing James's personal point of view would be helpful. We're putting you on. Now you're coming into my world, public speaking.
I like that too. It's all yours, my brother. With every breath, I give thanks. My name's James Lott. How's everybody doing today? colleagues and everybody's family members are here for support. We very much appreciate it, all of us. I'm a two-tour veteran, a veteran of foreign wars, 2 tours in Iraq, right? I moved to Westchester County about 10 years ago as a part of my transitional process to reclimatize myself with society, right? There were sacrifices. Sometimes were hard, sometimes were good, right? But through it all, I found P2A, and P2A found me, and here I am. Pathways to Apprenticeship is a program that I'm very fortunate to have been vetted and selected. Now I am a District Council 9 painter and on the job working. Thank you. As a Westchester resident, I see new developments now being built in my city of New Rochelle, and I know about those soon to come. We talked about Yonkers and various other work sites. I see just big developments going up, you know. And I wonder to myself what a great opportunity it would be to have people like me and you working on these sites. This is our city, this is our community, you know, and I want to be able to contribute to these developments for the generations to come, you know. I am so thankful for the training and the career that I now have because I've been on the other side of the fence. I've worked in non-union jobs. I've been hurt on a job before and had to just take ibuprofen just to cover up my injury. I've been at non-union jobs where my paycheck bounced and I had to feed my family. But now I'm part of District Council 9 Painters. I have a pension. I have vacation pay. I have a career that's already invested in me, you know, and that's invaluable to somebody for me, you know. I don't come from a silver spoon, you know. I work hard for everything that I got, and now I have an opportunity to be a part of a brotherhood that's going to be there for me in the long term. Without P2A, none of this would have been possible. It's been a vital resource for me. They've given me the tools that I needed. Day one, I showed up on the work site with the tool bag, with the hard hat, with paintbrushes in it. So I could do my job and work on my career. Like I said, I've been here in Westchester County. I made New Rochelle my home 10 years ago, and it's become my refuge and my resource. I'd like to thank the Pathways to Apprenticeship Program, with a special thanks to Alvin, Melissa, Dominique, and Dwayne. And I also like to send a special thanks to the Local 29, Mr. Doyle and Joe, for your unwavering support and being there for us and encouraging us along the way. I also like to send a special thanks to the Westchester Building Trade for giving us and backing us so we can have this opportunity to participate in this program. And finally, I also like to thank our county executive, Mr. George Latimer, for his support in hosting this graduation ceremony for Pathways to Apprenticeship. And I'd just like to send out a special believe in the union, commit to the union. It'll pay off in the end. It'll pay off in the end. Thank you.
We have certificates for our 10 graduates, and we're happy to present it to them as a symbol of their accomplishment. And it's a certificate of training, and it shows that Pathways to Apprenticeship and the Don Bosco workers have awarded this for successfully completing the 140-hour P2A Pre-Apprenticeship Training Program. So as I call your name, please come up here. Just tell us where you live so that you can see the scope of where these gentlemen are coming from. If I mispronounce a name, just correct it for me if you don't mind. Javin Crosby.
From Yonkers, New York, by the way.
We've heard of it. We are going to all pose for some pictures in due time. Any of the family members here, you'll get that moment because, as we know, it ain't real unless there's a photo op. Alexander Fuentes. What town are you from?
From Mamaroneck. We live in Mamaroneck. Thank you.
Next, Jordan Ford.
I'm from Yonkers, New York.
Yonkers is in the lead right now. Ulrich Hemmens Binder.
I'm from Mount Vernon, New York.
Next, Michael Howard.
I'm originally from White Plains, now in New Rochelle.
All right. So what do you do when the Tigers play the Huguenots? Where are you going?
Stick with the Tigers.
Sean Pryor. And Mr. Pryor, where are you from?
I'm from Yonkers.
Yonkers. Next, Travis Wright.
New Rochelle, New York.
Maurice Mayo. And of course, James Lott, who we met today. There you go. And he knows how to pose for pictures. This man is running for office, I'm telling you right now.
Can we get all the graduates up for a quick picture? Yes, of course.
This is where we learn how hard it is to be a model. As you guys get through the cover girl thing. Mr. Fuentes, come on back over here. We'll get you right there. We're good.
Smile. Breathe. You did it.
It's a whole lot of cameras to be looking at.
Yep.
Come a long way, haven't you?
Good. Everyone got it?
We got everybody. A round of applause for our graduates. Gentlemen, well done.
I'm the Director of Organizing with Local 46 and their teacher, so I can't help this. We have a letter from a graduate who's absent today, but his absence is our success. It's his first day as a union apprentice with the laborers. So, Wilfredo Valentin, who lives in Yonkers, sent this letter for you guys. Well, we did it, fellow graduates. I'm sorry I'm not able to be there in person, but please know that I'm there in spirit celebrating this major accomplishment in our lives. Most of you know my story, being you all. I lost 20 years of my life for a bad decision, and now I am diligently working on my future, making the most of this second chance at a life that was granted to me. We should all take this accomplishment as a major milestone, but not as the end goal in itself. We must not stop here. This graduation's already shown us how capable we all are of accomplishing goals when we commit ourselves to them. How anything is truly possible when we put our minds to it. The road that lies ahead will not be easy. There are obstacles and missed exits and potholes and roadblocks. Nothing worthwhile is easy. But that doesn't mean we give up on ourselves. We keep pushing because we know what we can achieve, and Pathways to Apprenticeship has equipped us with the necessary tools to tackle our futures and join the proud ranks of union construction. As always, play to win, P2A for life.
And I'm just going to close with one more personal comment. My father is gone now almost 25 years, and as I mentioned, he was a working man, was a maintenance man, head of maintenance at Beach Point Club. And I remember once when he was in the hospital, I was there by his bedside. I was in my late 30s, and my career before I decided to go into this was in marketing, sales and marketing in the hospitality industry, and I had a full career in that area working for some major companies. And so at one point in time, he said, I want to see your hands. And I said, what do you mean, Dad? You know, were they dirty or something? You know, I'd learn how to clean my hands. He said, no, I want to see your hands. So I showed him my hands. And he says, man, you never worked a day in your life, have you, son? And I looked at his hands, and his hands were the hands of a working man, a man that had calluses on it and what have you. And I said to him, Dad, you used those hands to give me a better life so that I could find a way to live in a different way than you did. These smooth hands, this marketing career where you wear a tie every day and use a pen, this is your accomplishment, you and Mom's accomplishment. And I'm sure, and I hope, and I'm also sure that your sons and daughters will look at you in the years to come the way I look at my father's memory for the sacrifice that he made and she made for me, that you're making right now for your children. And because you've taken that step, whatever's happened in your life up to this point, you've taken that step forward, you have our respect.